Ladies and gentlemen, this is your tea time champion, Theo Ivory, and you are now listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
What's going on, everybody? This is the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
And this is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
And we collectively known as Waves and Curls, and you are listening to
Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hi, this is Billy Starks, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
This is Little Mean Kathleen, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey, Pyromaniacs. This is the unbreakable Sean Phoenix, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey guys, it's the Immaculate Threat, Nevaeh Chantelle, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive breaking news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, and New Japan every Saturday, and interviewing the hottest independent wrestlers every Wednesday. I am your host, James J., alongside Kaliko Yachts.
Black History Month fact of the day. The George Foreman grill was actually slated to Hulk Hogan, and he passed it up. And George Foreman took it, and the rest is history.
And Scooter Dust.
Hola, mi Suretsu? I'm sorry, I said that backwards. Hello, I'm Scooter Dust.
And it's a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with the Immaculate Threat, Nevaeh Chantelle. How are you?
Hey guys, what's up? I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. And
Pleasure's ours.
what's coming up for you, and where can we find you on social media?
Well, you can find me on all social media platforms as Nevaeh Chantelle. Coming up, I have, right now in wrestling this spring for standalone wrestling. So that I'm excited for that. And I also have be on the lookout for my social media because I have some other things coming up.
All right. And you've been primarily working, and all of your social media handles will be in the description of the video, both on YouTube and Castbox. And you work for CCW and We Want Wrestling, primarily. Could you maybe tell us your relationship with those companies?
Well, I done WSU and Dojo Wars. I trained at the Monster Factory. But I was seeking new competition, just like an alternative. So, I started doing CZW Dojo Wars weekly for the pandemic. And then that led me to a spot on the WSU show.
I've personally done some work back in the day when I broke in with WSU because of where I trained, the NYWC. And I also know you've also done some work for VPW as well. But when at the Monster Factory, run by the great Danny Cage, what is it like to be a student of Danny Cage?
He expects the most from his students. He wants us all to succeed and, make a career in wrestling. But he expects a lot from us, holds us to a high standard. And as a student, you always feel that pressure to want to succeed and, do right by your coach. So, but yeah, it's pressure, but it's pressure because he wants us to succeed.
And what drew you specifically to CZW? Because I have my own connections to CZW. They're the great ring announcer Larry Legend He's one of my best friends. But what exactly drew you to CZW and essentially the Monster Factory out of all the schools you could have possibly trained at?
Well, at the time, I was still new to the business, and I only really was wrestling out of my home fed because my home fed is the Monster Factory. So when I started branching out, CZW seemed like the natural next step. WSU growing up for me was always was one of the first promotions that I've ever watched. So that's so I came to a WSU show, introduced myself to DJ Hyde, and that's how I started Dojo Wars. So that's kind of how
with WSU. I'm gonna ask just one more. It's hard because not many people know WSU outside of the past the I get Mississippi River at this point. It's mostly East Coast. I just want to ask. You said you're a WSU fan. You saw them a long time ago. Have you ever seen Brittany Savage wrestle?
Yes. I used to watch the original WSU. Like, I remember the cage match. Remember the cage match? It was Mia Yim.
Yep.
Any social, yeah. So what the cage match was like. Alicia and like those girls. That's how I first started watching Jordan Grace. And
it might have been Dale.
Mercedes and
Mercedes Martinez
and Marty Bell and
yes.
My first night in the business, the first match I ever announced was a WSU Spirit Championship match between Brittany Savage and Tracy Brooks. I just love that personal connection.
Not to mention, Mercedes Martinez is still looking to get even with Scooter Dust, but that's another story for another time.
Oh boy.
Kaliko, you have a question?
Yeah, mine's a two-part question, but first, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. My question is more in the sense of, because one thing that captured my that you actually helped me actually think of was during Black History Month. And it's funny because we always talk about, male Black wrestlers and the fact that they always talk about the male Black wrestlers that made the impact. And one post that you show was like the 4 women that main evented the Madison Square Garden.
I never knew that until I saw that tweet. I never knew that.
Yeah. And what it got me to think was that Black women wrestlers in general, it almost feels like you're working damn near 4 times as hard just to get ahead. And my 2-part question is, one, what are some of the trials and tribulations that comes with being a Black female wrestler? And then 2, how does it feel that you feel, because it feels like it's like a tight-knit group. It's not a lot of Black female wrestlers, So to be part of that sorority, for a lack of a better word, how does it feel that you're blazing a trail for Black women in professional wrestling?
Oh, first, being a Black woman in wrestling is hard because we're always compared to each other. Not only by fans, but by promoters. It's always like, there can be me, and then there can be 3 other girls who have the same body type, and every promoter wants to call us each other's names. Or they feel like, we all have to wrestle each other and they get a house fight. Or it always has to be something where they always just think they can't, like, it's like sometimes like you don't have your own identity. It's just quota Black woman on my card. As in terms of being a part of sorority, it's weird though because every female Black wrestler I've ever met has been so kind to me and automatically took me in as a sister. And I'm so grateful for that. Has always been nice to me, always been there for advice, has always been there, hey, can you watch my match? They'll watch my match. I used to team up with Karen Bam Bam. She made me my first custom gear. I wrestled, teamed up with Anastasia Morningstar, and me and her, traveled. We took the train, and she just told me stories. So, little things like that, I've always been grateful for, because I'm the only Black African American student at the Monster Factory, female. And so I always, even though I love my Monster Factory girls, and I love my sisters at the Monster Factory, the girls I have on the indies who are Black, it's just like a certain type of bond that you can't really
describe.
compare it to. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was speaking. We had an interview with Waves and Curls a couple weeks ago, which you can hear on our network. But I was talking with them as well about the stereotypes and stigmas of Black wrestlers, where if you're a Black male wrestler, you have to be a gangster, or you're either uberly serious or uberly playful, and there's no room in between. And I feel like with Black women, it's either you're uberly mean or uberly nice, and it doesn't give you a wiggle room to develop as a character and to stand out. So how's that challenge of trying to get your character to stand out, especially when the business is telling you, oh, Black woman, uber mean, because that's what society has deemed all Black women, just through media lens and so on and so forth?
For me personally, I have decided that I'm not going to let somebody tell me who I am. And it took me a while to get to that point. Because I always was told, I'm a thicker girl, so I have to be Awesome Kong. Well, Awesome Kong is amazing. Awesome Kong is a legend.
Exactly.
But there's only one Awesome Kong. I'm Nevaeh Chantelle.
Right.
There you go.
There's one Faye Jackson. There's one Karen Bam Bam. There's one Anastasia Morningstar. There's one, all these Black women, there's one of. And you can't ask another female Black wrestler to repeat that woman's character, or repeat that woman who she is, because I'm not that woman. I'm my own person. So, for that, it took me a couple of years, but I finally got to the point where I'm just going to be Nevaeh Chantelle. And you're going to get the Nevaeh Chantelle experience. You get me authentically me, and not me trying to pretend to be somebody.
All right. And just, continuing with the struggles part, we are in the pandemic era of wrestling. How has that, affected your pro wrestling, and, going into a match knowing there's going to be no crowd? How do you approach a match differently?
So for me, for me, I thought, because I'm an introverted person in real life, so for me, I thought, oh, it'll be fine. But I have struggled a bit with no crowds, because I learned that I get the energy from the crowds.
Right.
So for me, I just think of trying to just put on a show in my head, still perform in the moment, but know that my fans are still watching, and I have to still perform like they're right there. And I have to be, even more, what's the word I want?
Proactive?
Just more proactive about just engaging with camera work. Because a lot of taping, so a lot of camera work has to be engaging and make sure I'm vocal, make sure my facials are right, and those type of things, right? That you don't have pre-pandemic. We kind of took for granted. I feel like as a performer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're always feeding to the crowd, but now you have to work the hard cam. You have to work the camera.
Is it frustrating to, have these really good matches, and, having those matches and not having the crowd respond to them to, take it to that next level to make it a great or incredible match? You know what I mean?
Yes. Because I can't talk about it yet, but I did have a taping with a wrestler recently, who has a pretty good name, and that's the one thing I wish it was a crowd in front of a crowd, you know, and because it was one of my first singles matches this year, and I wish that singles match crowd, you know.
Yeah,
So that was kind of frustrating.
I can imagine.
I can't say who was against, but it sucked. Like that one, like that kind of was like, damn, I wish I could have had that.
Well, now I'm really curious, but maybe I'll ask you off well. Scooter, you have a question?
Now, it is a difficult time for wrestling in this pandemic era, and just so you know, and everybody knows and is reminded, we do our research here. We came across something very interesting that included on this roster a friend and former guest of the show, Davienne. Something sort of a shoot off of CZW, and if you don't want to answer this, please say no comment and we will just move past it. The idea of what's CZW is calling custom wrestling fantasies.
Mm-hmm.
Custom ordered matches.
Right.
I noticed that there was one you did with Vanity, I believe.
Yeah.
And is that something you're maybe hoping kind of picks up to supplement? And I'm really hoping it just, when they say custom wrestling fantasy, it's just a wrestling match, yeah, and not anything more.
Right. So it is just wrestling.
Thank God.
Yeah. So also the women who own the company give you a paper. If you're not comfortable with something, you don't have to do it.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So that I did it. At the time, I was still kind of early in my career, and I was still trying to just getting matches. So I did it, and they made me feel comfortable. I don't, shame any girl who wants to do customs. For me, I did it, like I said, for match experience, or just to get out there more. And like I said, the women who own it gave me a paper, and they said, what are you comfortable doing? And if I wasn't comfortable with something, I didn't have to do it.
That is incredible. Always incredible to hear about such strong, female roles in the workplace, regardless of the industry.
Right.
Kaliko, you have a question?
Yeah, we do our research. Another person that we had a friend of the show, Sir Theo Ivory Morgendorfer.
I was waiting for this.
Oh shit.
We love him.
Oh, he's our boo.
We truly love him. But one thing that I asked him about when we interviewed him was the importance of him connecting to Black wrestlers, especially during the pandemic, because the opportunities, I feel, are probably far and few between, especially for African American wrestlers, and just speaking your relations to that and having to take the opportunities that you get. Because one of the quotes that I noticed that you had was the only difference between African American people, I'm not going to butcher it, but it's Viola Davis quote. The only difference between African American person and another person is the opportunity. So just speak within the struggle in the pandemic of, if you had any, of getting an opportunity and seizing on opportunity.
So for me, that quote comes out of frustration, because I feel like also I've stepped my training up during the pandemic, so I feel like I'm a much better wrestler than I was pre-pandemic. It's just my personal opinion. You can watch my matches, you can judge for yourself. but I feel like I'm a better wrestler than I was pre-pandemic. So for me, it's just wanting to get the opportunity to prove that. And it's like I feel like African Americans do all they can, and sometimes we're not given that shot to say, listen, we can do just as much as everybody else. Black people, especially the talent right now in the African American wrestling community, is abundant. There's no reason why half these wrestlers aren't signed. So for me, it's just like trying to fight that stigma of, yeah, I'm Black, yeah, I'm thick, but I'm just as a star as any other, skinny white girl that you can put on the card. I can bring it. I know I can. I know I have a fan base. So just give me the opportunity to prove that I can be an asset to your company. That's where I come from with that quote. Like, I know I can bring something to the table.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of talent right now on the scene that can do the same. Be just asking for the opportunity.
Yep. And that's very intriguing, especially when you spoke that you are African American, you are a bigger girl, and they try to like base it on your size and everything, and then when you see someone like a Piper Nevins who's just as thick but is equally as mobile, and I feel like you guys are neck and neck in talent. No, but just I hope that you do get those opportunities, because it's
right.
very far and few in between.
Right. I just feel like sometimes for me, it's just that one match is going to be my breakout match.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like, not to sound religious, but just feel like God has a plan and it's all going to work out.
That's a great
I always feel like I said, just like, I just feel like I will have I believe in manifestation, and I know that before the end of this year, I will have that breakout match.
Mm-hmm.
What will happen? Who would it be against? I don't know, but I just know before the end of the year, I will have my breakout match.
Well, going on breakout matches, could you tell us about Mother Endless and your rivalry with her?
Whew, yeah, that was fun. That was fun. That Mother Endless feud was literally like we're the two only girls that was on their roster, and we were given an opportunity, and we just ran with it. We want wrestling management people were just like, okay, guys, yes, this week you guys will do this. This week you guys will do this, and it was cool because it gave us for me, it was the first time I've had like a real feud. In terms of every week having to build something new and reinvent the wheel. So it was a learning opportunity at the same time. But Mother Endless is an amazing performer. Her character is literally one of the most unique things going today.
Oh yeah.
Because there's no one is like Mother Endless. And I want to wrestle her again. Like, we wrestled probably a good 4 times, but I want to wrestle her again because I always feel like our chemistry is just cool as hell, and that's a shoot. Like, me and her have really good chemistry. So definitely the Mother Endless feud for me will always hold a special place in my heart. We had the Falls Count Anywhere match, which was really fun for me because I've never done a Falls Count Anywhere match. I've done a Kindlestick match like with her. So I was able to explore the hardcore side of myself that I didn't know I wanted to do. But it was fun. I love Mother Endless. She's such a cool competitor. It was cool to also have to deal with the uniqueness of her character and how that worked with me, because she is not a regular. She's a supernatural entity.
Well, of
So
course, yeah.
it was cool.
And just I have a few follow-up questions about that rivalry.
Yeah.
First off, she talks a lot of crap in the ring. Like, she talks as much as she wrestles. Is that distracting to you? For people that's not that don't know, she just shook her head.
For me, that's not a distraction because it fuels me, and I know that's her character, and it gives for me, it gives it a story. It enhances the story. So for me, that's not a distraction. I welcome that type of stuff because like growing up, that's what I always loved about wrestling was storytelling. So that's why for me, I enjoyed that part of her character.
Second follow-up question: in that false count anywhere match, how did you know putting your foot on the bumper of the car would create a rope break?
Wait, what happened?
She pinned you outside, and you put your leg on the bumper of the car, and the referee broke up the count.
I honestly look. I watched it and I said, "You are not the first person who asked me about that," and I have no idea how I knew about that. I guess it's because I don't know. I don't know. It happened. It happened.
Because I was watching that match and I was like, okay, well, when did that's a rule of a false count anywhere? You put your foot on the bumper and it creates a rope break. Okay, duly noted.
Everybody knows that, James. Come on.
And the last follow-up question, the Singapore King match. First off, I didn't that was one of the first matches I saw researching you, and it kind of seemed like that match ended abruptly.
Yeah.
Could you maybe tell us why that kind of ended so abruptly like that?
I think because there was two matches, candlestick matches. And I don't know. Honestly, I don't know why the other one didn't air. It was supposed to be a part of like a 2-part storyline. So that one, it was another candlestick match that was supposed to air that had a different finish as well. So I don't know why that one didn't air. Yeah.
All right. Scooter, you have a question?
Okay. I'm very particular when it comes to vocabulary. And the first thing that jumps out about you, Nevaeh, is your choice of verbiage for your descriptor. Immaculate. Something that can't, by all means and logic, can't happen, but happens regardless. What made you choose specifically immaculate to describe you?
Well, exactly what you said. I wasn't supposed to be a wrestler. I wasn't what they considered. I wasn't the most athletic. I wasn't the most traditional pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't what they wanted. I think, I don't think the industry. I didn't feel like when I first started wrestling that I belonged in wrestling. I felt like everything I've had in wrestling, I had to fight for, or fight for my place at the table. And somebody told me immaculate, and I really thought about it, and I was like, And then the threat part came because I felt like, because of how I felt about it in terms of the word, that I was a threat because I wasn't what they wanted or what they thought they wanted.
It's almost an oxymoron in the most elaborate use I think I've ever heard in my life, and I absolutely love that. Just the fact that one might assume that the link between Immaculate and Nevaeh, and by the way, guys, if you haven't figured it out, Nevaeh is killer spelled backwards. No, I'm kidding. It's Evan spelled backwards. Now, did Nevaeh arrive before Immaculate or the other way around?
So honestly, I had my ring name for like 2 years before I was the Immaculate Threat. I had my ring name a couple of months after I started training. I figured out my ring name, and it literally was just like me and my cousin messing around on the phone with a baby book. And we're just trying to figure out a name. Because my coach Danny Cage didn't like my original ring name. My original ring name was going to be Tatiana Chantelle. He didn't like it, so I had to figure out something. And me and my cousins just started playing around, and that's how we got the name.
May I borrow that name if I'm ever on Drag Race?
Oh my God! If you're on Drag Race with that name, I'll pop. I will pop.
Just look for the guy that looks like Brody Lee. Kaliko?
Yeah.
I like that though. The Immaculate Heaven, the Immaculate Advance, it's like the beautiful nightmare type of deal. Straight Beyonce-ish type of vibe.
I always say that about Nevaeh Chantelle. Like, she is my Sasha Fierce because I am really not like how I am. Like, when you see me dressed out, like I'm this. I'm like I wear no makeup and I wear sweatpants. That's what, like, the tight jeans and all that stuff you see on social media. That's my Sasha Fierce. That's like Nevaeh Chantelle.
Jersey.
Yeah.
Straight Jersey, son. Get that break it.
Exactly. Oh God.
I'm more Jersey than you, Kaliko.
You are. I'm from Atlanta. I ain't got no reason talking like that. So with rest, you recently opened up, and you were talking about that you were open to having a female manager, which to me, I must admit, it's different. I never really thought of because every time when we think of a female, they would have a male manager, and the male would do all the type and hyping them up, and it kind of seems pseudo masculine in a sense. But I feel like that would be a good idea if you were to have a female valet. Who would it be, and what got your mind in your gears going about this brilliant idea and concept that never came about?
Well, it might come about. That's all I'm saying about that. I was watching Terry Runnels. I was watching like a random SmackDown on SmackDown 2000, I think it was. She was with Perry Saturn. And I just thought about it. I said, wow, Terry was a good talent, like a good manager, especially like her Marlena run, and just thinking of things like that. And then I was thinking about Su Young's Susan character.
Yeah.
I was thinking about random people. Then I was thinking about Stacy Keibler's Miss Hancock character. I was thinking about like random. I don't know what I was thinking about, but I was like, why don't we ever have like a really attractive woman cheering on another woman in a female empowerment way, helping a woman do business? Like, one woman handles the business in the ring, the other woman handles the business in the boardroom, and just that type of unit be represented. I thought it would just be cool, and nobody does that. I would like to do that. I just have to find the perfect person because I feel like chemistry is key.
Yes.
And you can't just pick a girl and just say, "Hey, be my manager."
Right.
I have to click with you.
You brought up Terry Runnels, and a lot of people, a lot of younger fans may not remember her as Alexandra York of the York Foundation, and the one who always had the calculator and was crunching the numbers, and was doing the strategizing right at the ring.
Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely something I would love to see again someday.
But hypothetically speaking, who would be like your dream female manager?
On the indies or just in general?
Just in general.
General.
I would have loved Vicky Guerrero.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that is.
Vicky Guerrero.
Excuse me?
Stephanie McMahon.
Oh yeah, she's really underrated as a heel.
Yes.
Like people as a manager, like her mic skills are like for women top 3, debatable top 3.
Yeah, you can make arguments Stephanie top 3 on the mic, like especially like she can go bar for bar. Like her, AJ Lee. Actually, in terms of Stephanie McMahon promos, the only one who gave Stephanie a run for her money on the mic was probably AJ Lee.
AJ Lee. Yeah.
That sounds about
That's the only
right,
person I can think of. That's the only person that I've seen Stephanie in a promo battle with who actually gave it back to her and made sense.
Oh yeah.
Nothing against like Brie Bella or any, like even Melina struggled with their little interaction. And Melina is an amazing talker.
Now, not too long ago, you debuted for GWS against some high-profile names on the Indies. Vita Von Starr, friend of the show, Master Slamovic, Notorious Mimi. What did you learn from that experience and, go working for that company?
That was cool because that was something that was last minute. And I was kind of like seized the opportunity. And I learned so much, especially like I've always wanted to wrestle Masha. I always wanted to wrestle Vita. And literally I've trained with Mimi her entire career. So that was cool to have that match and have that opportunity to be, especially since that was their inaugural belt. That was cool. And also to make it to the final two and have the interaction with Masha was pretty dope.
You should have came home with the belt, though.
I know, right?
You should have had me fly in, son. Get the crowbar, got the birthday bag.
I should have stretched more. You feel me? I should have stretched more. Maybe I would have beat her.
I mean, it's a fatal four-way because there's lots of chaos in those kind of matches. Is it hard to, tell a really good story in a fatal four-way match?
No. Because I feel like with a fatal four-way, especially with a title on the line, you have you can break it down in a certain type of way. The story is you want to be the first champion.
Right.
It's putting it's breaking it down that might be a little difficult, but you know your story.
Yeah, I get you.
You know that's what you just have to now is the part that you have to now figure out is what's my story with Masha, what's my story with Mimi, what's my story with Vita, and tell those many stories in the match and put it together. And you'll see like over the next couple of weeks with GCW how certain things play out, which is pretty cool.
Scooter, you have a...
Yes.
Oh, I apologize. Scooter, you have a question? Scooter, you have a question?
Yes. Based on what you've been talking about and so far, and you were into wrestling at a young age, and you always wanted to know what happened behind, what happened next. You seem like you were one of the few females, and I hate to say that because it shouldn't be that way, that has a potential flair for the other side of the business, not just its in-ring talent. So has there ever been any consideration for pursuing a dual career in wrestling as in-ring talent and behind the scenes as a booker or promoter?
I would love to one day, be a promoter. When I'm not booked on a show, if I'm just visiting, I always ask the promoter or the booker if I can sit with them and I kind of watch how they put a show together. I would love to sit in the writer's room and write or produce a show. That would be pretty dope.
What you kind of learn from? What did you learn? What was like the big takeaways from watching the promoters?
Why things? Because as a fan, you sometimes don't understand, but why things happen a certain way. Why matches are in a certain order. Why a person goes over when they go over to lead to something else. Those type of things.
Right. Kaliko, you have a question?
Yes. I want to go back to where you were saying you wanted to be natural and you are your natural self. And one thing that came across is when you said you took off the weave and you took off and you became your natural self. And one thing I saw liberating about that is embracing yourself as a natural person and not being weighed down with the anxiety of, the world on you, expecting, especially with Black women, you have to look a certain way or you have to be a certain way. Just elaborate on how liberating that was, because I feel like that is something that is not only prevalent or, for professional wrestling, but in life in general for younger girls who, and women in general.
So don't get me wrong, like I love dressing up and I love my, extensions and the contacts and the makeup and I like all that. But there was a time where I felt like I needed it. And I felt like over last year, especially in the pandemic, I went through a lot of stuff and my self-worth was at an all-time low. And so coming out of the pandemic and training again and getting back into wrestling again and just I've also done some self-discovery and some self-love. And that's why when I said I took my weave off and I took my makeup off sometimes and I just was just myself, the person behind Nevaeh Chantelle, it felt good. It felt liberating. It's like, what, I don't need to walk around, I'm not, I don't have a booking for a while. I don't have to wear all this right now. I can just be me for a little bit before I get back to wrestling full time and got to worry about all the weave and the makeup and all that other stuff, And it's just okay to just be natural for a little bit, you know what I mean? And love myself the way I am.
That's great.
I just wanted to say, I want to thank you for sharing that because I know it takes a lot of courage to share it and to turn, that tribulation to a testimony. So I give you a bunch of kudos, and you're a strong woman in my book.
Thank you.
Now it appears that you have a beef with friend of the show, Theo Ivory. You was on Tea Time 3 times, none of which ended well.
Exactly. I'm like, man.
So, where does this rivalry come from?
And she's faced him in a match.
Yeah.
That's right.
Damn, some bad boy death row shit.
Yeah. I think that just comes from his attitude. I'm a take no, ish type of person. So it's like, you're going to talk your ish, but I'm going to give it back. And my attitude and my bite is a little bit more stronger. So it's
great world star.
It's fun. I feel like one day it will be a world star moment between me and Theo Ivory.
World star!
And, we don't know where we want wrestling, CZW, who knows where on the indies this will be. But I don't know why the management...
Got an idea for a place.
It'll be out of this world star.
Yeah. So, yeah, me and Theo will have to do our thing in the ring one day one day.
I mean, maybe they should do it for the culture in Tampa.
Oh, put the plug in. Put the plug in. Call AJ right now. Somebody call AJ right now. Somebody book
I think that would be a good spot for the culture of Tampa WrestleMania weekend.
Somebody call AJ. Call AJ. I'm available. I'll be there. I'll be there. Call AJ.
See, we try to get her on the show. Let's get her on the show. Work your magic, Scooter.
I gotta put that out there on Twitter.
Maybe I get. I have Paul. I don't know if I have.
Drop the tweet.
I'll drop it. I'll drop the tweet. I get
somebody drop the tweet. You know what I mean? I'll because we're gonna hype it up. We're not just gonna let that match happen with no vignettes and promos and shit talking for 2 months.
and I think that would be good, especially when it consider us Florida, they wilding out, but they're gonna allow fans. So hell, you might as well get the money's worth, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love how we go from interview to talking shop about rivalries and character stuff and all that. Scooter, you have a question.
Yep. Well, I think we're going to go beyond wrestling here, and in my research, I discovered that you're a fan of the show Power.
Yes.
And I absolutely love Power. I love Ghost Book 2. My question, before it was revealed, who do you originally think shot Ghost?
Honestly, I thought that Tommy shot Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the same thing.
I thought Tommy shot Ghost, and especially like the way they set up the scenes. Like, I knew when Tommy's episode aired, I said, okay, Tommy probably didn't do it. Tariq probably did it. But leading up to Tommy's episode, I really went into it thinking Tommy did it. They got into an argument, it got bad or something, but honestly, as much as I'm a fan of the character Ghost, if you watch that season, he had it coming.
That's true.
Kalika, you have a question?
You want to count?
Yes, I do. Word on the street, you like the song "What Dreams Are Made Of" by Hilary Duff.
Yeah.
Which I mean that like that's one of the odd ones that would be on a playlist. And I'm a music guy, so I always try to incorporate some music.
If you pick up my phone is all over the place when it comes to music. But yeah, I am a big fan of Lizzie McGuire. What Dreams Are Made Of. If it takes my street cred away, it takes my street cred away. I don't care.
Hey,
that's my song.
And I like Hillary that song too. It's currently on my playlist, so we got that going for each other.
Trust me, I listen to Prowlin' from Grease too, so you ain't going prowl. I love some of my reason Johnny just hits it, but that's a whole nother. But I just want to know, like, what are some other songs that are in your tune list that, hey, I don't say it kills your street cred, but it could kill your street cred. Because we all got that one. We all got a plethora of songs that we.
So you want to know what also is on my playlist?
Before you answer this, I just have to point this out. I have a personal connection to Lizzie McGuire. The actor who played her best friend, Adam Lambert, not Lambert, my mother worked with his uncle for over 20 years.
Wow.
Oh God, I can't remember the name. But my apologies for interrupting. I just had to get that out.
So the song that's on my playlist is "I'll Make a Man Out of You," Mulan soundtrack.
Let's
Oh,
go
the
down.
Boulanger.
That's
Make
my
the
song that I work out to.
Oh, make a
That's the
man
motivation.
out of you.
Cheetah Girls is on my playlist.
Ooh.
Like you pick up my phone and you be like, you will listen to Cardi B, Rick Ross, Christina Aguilera. It's the craziest thing ever.
Wait a minute,
I'm a Gemini.
Was this the Raven Simone Cheetah Girls or the after when she left?
No, the Galleria version.
Okay.
The Galleria version.
I assume we'd also find a lot of Demi Lovato.
Yeah, you will find a lot of Demi Lovato.
See, it sounds like she was more Disney than Nick, and that's what.
Yeah, definitely more Disney than Nick. You know, it's weird though. As a kid though, like I was watching Cartoon Network way more than I was watching Nick.
Oh, cartoon.
Like I was
favorite
watching
cartoon.
Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, I love those girls. Them girls.
I was watching. Let me tell you, I was watching Powerpuff Girls. I was watching Dexter's Laboratory, and I was watching Toonami. I was watching Dragon Ball Z.
Damn! Awesome.
Didi, why are you interrupting my experiments?
So they were like that was, and to this day, if I can go on demand and I need something to watch, I'll throw it on to this day. I know, I'll be there.
That's all you can say.
No, I just like the Mojo Jojo.
Mojo Jojo. Mojo Jojo. That's a running gag in high school for me.
Now, you've wrestled intergender matches as well. What are some of the advantages and disadvantages of wrestling a guy rather than a girl?
When you wrestle a guy, I think it's empowering. But in terms of challenges, you have to as a performer, you have to think when putting a match together how to tell the psychology different. And that's one thing that I did enjoy with CZW. Doing those intergender matches has taught me how to think better, to think more realistic. And also I don't know, you guys do your research, but I'm a big China fan. So for me,
we're gonna get to that.
So I love. So for me, doing those intergender matches, I was able to relive my childhood, watch a lot of China, and I didn't realize the psychology of what China was doing back then. Because of course, you're a kid, you're just watching it, and oh my God, this big strong woman, she's beating up all these guys.
Right.
But then when I got a chance to get in the rewatch it, I was like, oh wow, they did this and they did you was able to pick it apart. And it taught me how to do intergender matches in a way that's entertaining and empowering. And I don't know, I guess in terms of disadvantages of an intergender match, is thinking an intergender match has to have a disadvantage. It's just an opponent. It's you versus another person. Drop the gender.
I actually love that answer.
And that actually answers a follow-up. And I had, should gender lines in wrestling be erased to essentially create one division where in-ring ability is the only thing that matters as opposed to chromosomes?
I don't necessarily think, I do think that there can be interpromotional, like intergender matches. I think the division lines, to me, represent something like UFC. In terms of a sports aspect. Like, yes, Amanda Nunes can bang with probably some of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world.
Oh, yeah, she got hands.
Right. So, but in terms of her, but she still has her division.
Right.
She's still, you know what I mean? So, I think you can still have gender lines, but don't bring us, we still are of money value. We're not a cliche. What's the word I'm looking for? We're not a niche.
A sideshow.
Cliche.
Yeah.
An attraction.
We're not a special attraction anymore.
Yeah.
You know, especially if now that you watch wrestling, some of the women can hold just as much weight as the guys in terms of making money for the business.
I have a bit of a follow-up question. You kind of answered it, but up in Maine for Limitless Wrestling, it seems like they're going more of the route of one singles championship that all genders could wrestle for. Is that something that interests you, or would you rather it be one men's championship and one women's championship?
I like the idea of intergender championship. Yeah, you can have like women's titles and male's titles, but I do like the idea also of that intergender title. I believe there's a place for both.
Interesting. And what about you, Kalika? You have a question?
She done took my China question. I'm just going like, man.
You can ask me the China question.
Hurt my soul, but you had no problem. I promise you, I seen a couple of them. You had no problem tossing them dudes around like rag dolls. So I know you'll toss my little ass somewhere. Somewhere. So, dang it. I do have a question, but I feel like the question is going to tie into one of our 8 questions of doom. So that's why I'm going to hold off on that question.
All right, well, here's just a fun question. Pineapple on pizza, what's your stance?
Absolutely not.
No?
About time.
No. I've gotten into an argument with people about this. No. 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 Like, I was at a show and I got into an argument with somebody and said no.
Just nah. Not even no.
Nah.
Nah.
It's like, it's funny. I was like, you're Italian. Why are you putting pineapple on your pizza?
Oh, man.
And we literally, and it was fun. It was funny, and I don't understand it. I will yell at anybody who puts pineapple on their pizza because I just don't understand that.
You thought to put the pineapple on my pizza.
No, that's not okay.
It kind of seems like that discussion about pineapple on pizza kind of turned into a rivalry. Did that ever go into your match?
No. But if it would have, if they would have told me that before we wrestled, everything would have been stiff.
So that pizza don't go fucking pineapples and just eating it.
Right? What?
Well, you know
oh my God.
Yeah, that's great. I do have one. I got one more. I got one question because she's from Jersey, New York. You know what I'm saying? Your top 5 female rappers are no order.
No order.
No order.
All right. Lil Kim. Trina.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who else do I want to throw in there? Remy.
I knew it.
Yeah. So Trina, Kim, Remy. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna kick myself if I forget. You can throw Cardi in there, but I put Cardi in there, but I go back and forth because as much as I love Cardi sometimes, compared to the other 3 I've said, can't really go bar for bar.
Right.
She's interchangeable.
Yeah. And then if I had to throw one more in there, Nikki.
Ooh. So who wasn't a Nikki Remy feud to you?
To be honest, with Remy killed her. But I think always because Nikki's a bigger star, everybody's going to be kind of on Nikki. But if Sheether was a complete destroy, if I felt like if more people was Remy fans, people would kind of understand bar for bar Remy destroyed her on Sheether.
I feel like Remy's like one of those. She's big, but not big. Right when she was getting there, that's when she had the jail stint. But I'm surprised you didn't put Lauren. I'm surprised you didn't put Lauren Hill, Jersey's own.
I do, but let me tell you,
she got bars.
She does, but what happened with Lauren was like I grew up more on Little Kim. So and they were around.
The A side, B side, usually the conscious or hood shit. Okay, I got it. I got you.
So I was more on Kim than I was on Lauren Hill. Like, but you know what I forgot to put on there? Who definitely can go? Missy Elliott.
I was about to say that. Like,
the only reason I wouldn't put Missy on that is because it's a top five. Because I feel like she's her own planet. Like,
true.
Just from a sonic, like just not only musically, but just the aura of her is just like she's on a whole nother planet. It just reminds me when you put Missy Elliott. When someone said Missy Elliott, they were like,
and also and another one that doesn't get because she was a group. Lisa Left Eye Lopez.
Oh yeah.
Lisa had her bars too.
See, there you go. See, I got some female rappers. There we go.
Where I first learned the word vernacular was in No Scrubs.
Really?
I heard of the word, but I think that's the first time anybody ever actually used it in lyrics, and those specific bars made her stand out, and this is from me as a teenager. That album that essentially reinvigorating TLC's career, you can probably call it the defining album, one of the defining albums of my generation.
Right, but also like I like Meg. I like Megan Thee Stallion. I like Rennie Rucci. Rennie Rucci is dope. There's a lot of good female rappers coming up that in a couple of years you guys are gonna know, like, oh snap, female rapping. I feel like female rappers go through the same stuff as female wrestlers.
Yep. Yeah, because I'm from the South, so there were two female rappers that I knew that could go bar for bar with anybody, and it was Gangsta Boo from 3 6 Mafia and Mia X, who was with the No Limit Soldiers. I felt like those two women were like flow stylistically, lyrically, they could just go. It never blossomed for some odd reason with those two.
Right.
And it's just like, especially me, because I had that Gangsta Boo on my CD. I had to hide that from my mama because she was on some raunchy shit.
Oh no, I feel and it's criminal. I forgot to say this one. Eve.
Oh, Eve, yeah, Philly.
Philly
Eve.
Yeah. Yes.
EVE.
EVE.
See, that's why I said no order, no particular order, because people will get mad when you put one over the other. Oh my God, you put Cardi B up for Eve.
Right.
Scooter, you have a question?
So you're a self-professed video gamer. You say you're a fan of the Telltale games like Wolf Among Us. What's your preferred genre, and what are you currently playing, if any, right now?
All right, so I think put me in the gamer category. I'm not as much as a kid. I was a heavy gamer. Right now, I'm still playing GTA. Like, I don't know. I'm still playing. Like, I talk every couple of weeks on my Twitter. I will complain about how I hate GTA, but I still play it.
Of course.
Yeah. So I like Madden. I play UFC.
You play Madden. That's the jersey, Madden, not Madden. Madden.
I still play. What else do I still play like wrestling games. So yeah.
MK.
So
I saw the MK Katana reference.
Yeah, I'm a Mortal Kombat. Growing up, Mortal Kombat and Tekken was my games.
Oh God! So I want to know who the Tekken guy. I'm assuming Eddie Guardo. Eddie.
Jen.
Oh, Jen.
Jen and Nina were my ghosts. Jen and Nina. And I don't know if you ever saw the Tekken motion picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I still watch that to this day. I'm very basic.
I
don't think that's basic. I think it's not basic.
No.
Well, I think I have one final follow-up before we can move into the next segment, and that's being from Jersey. Has anyone ever asked you which exit?
Yes.
Oh yeah, because North and South Jersey, yeah, it's a totally different
I
world.
live in South Jersey. I live 5 minutes away from Philly.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Pasadena.
So I live like Atlantic City. I'm down here. But over the last 2 years, I've been going to New York a lot to wrestling.
Right.
So I now know North Jersey exists. So it's like, and it's weird because I was like, one day, I don't know if I want to move into New York, but I definitely want to move to North Jersey now because I love like the scenery.
Oh yeah, right across from the state. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So.
Well,
yeah.
You did some work for VPW. You ever work for VPW again? You have a place to stay because my sister lives literally right down the block, and my nephew now works for VPW. So, invitation extended.
Thank you. I love VPW. That's a really good promotion.
Man, I drove through Jersey. It felt like forever. It felt longer driving through Jersey than the Pennsylvania shit.
Really?
To me,
you got to drive it at night, though.
I drove it during the day into the night. It was when I went to Mania. It was like, man.
Oh, nah.
All right. And it is once again time for that segment. Nevaeh Chantelle's Bizarre Adventure. You are a pro wrestler that goes down and up the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you maybe tell us a story that fits that description?
Oh, wow. The craziest stories in wrestling for me?
Yes.
Whew, that I'm allowed to say on TV. That I'm allowed to repeat. Oh.
I mean, we ain't censored. Unsullied by sponsors. You can do whatever you want.
Oh, boy.
I mean, this will be audio only, so you have to worry.
Okay, so let's talk. I think
she set up. She ready.
Yeah,
right, let's go.
The craziest stuff in wrestling. Whew. Oh my God. I have so many stories. I don't even know where to start. All right, so I'm not going to say promotions because I can't.
Fair enough.
Okay. I was at a promotion. And I had some extracurricular activities. I was not wrestling on this show. I was there just as a guest.
Okay.
And I partaked in some extracurricular activities. And and while my head was in the sky, you know,
kind of like
it was me and a group of I missed my Greyhound home.
Ooh.
Oh God, Greyhound.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
I've been on
this
the
is getting
Greyhound. They
interesting.
don't stop it. Bro, when you miss a Greyhound, you there for like 3 days. Like shit.
Well, no. Thankfully, like another wrestler took me in. But it does have a happy ending because I got an opportunity to wrestle for a championship the next night that I wasn't supposed to wrestle for. But I had my gear in a bag with me, and I got an opportunity to wrestle. So it did end up right. I did. That was my second opportunity ever challenging for a title, and it was the night after I got high
You missed that Greyhound.
I missed
Oh,
that
because they already
Greyhound.
knew. They already knew. They were like, man, you missed that Greyhound. You'll be here for a whole nother week. You got
Right.
what you doing tomorrow?
I have so many other stories. So I got into so then another one, can't tell you the promotion or the person.
Cool.
I literally almost got into a fight with before the match. Shoot. And the promoter yelled at us. I thought we would never wrestle again. This girl had a bad day. And I was scared the whole time because I was like, oh snap, I'm never going to wrestle again. I'm yelling, having an argument with this other wrestler. This promoter probably thinks I'm crazy. So we had that situation. And another situation is my tag partner jumped out of a car.
Oh my
To
god.
try to make a spot. Yeah, it wasn't me. I was a part of it. So I wrestled Gabby Ortiz. And I remember my tag partner jumping out of a car because she had to make the end of my match for a spot. She comes in with her hand bleeding, and I'm yelling and screaming at her. I'm like, I wanted you on time, but I didn't want your hand bleeding or you jumping out of a car. So that was there were some. I don't feel like I don't have crazy stories. I just have to find myself in a situation where I'm like, if I wasn't drunk or high, I probably wouldn't have got into. Or
I mean,
That's like 99% of the world right now.
right. Or just life fucks with me. Oh, bleep that out. Sorry, I didn't get
no, you're fine.
It's audio. We don't care because we got our guy.
Right.
We got our guy for getting how to inhale. But
I'm just doing that on purpose. Because it's either that or it's this. So
what the hell?
Size matters. That's cigar.
Now, on a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Sorry.
Huh?
Sorry.
said
I'm working for
sign.
AW Impact WWE. I will be signed.
All right.
Now, I've heard that you're manifesting ambitions even sooner than that. What is your goal for within a year?
My first championship.
Interesting. You know, not putting ourselves over here, but not too long ago we had a go on, and 1 month later she won her first championship. So, you know, not to say that maybe a little bit of good luck, but you never know.
Also, the fact that a couple weeks after being on our show, a certain female wrestler was on AEW Dark.
This is true as well.
Well, those are the things that right now, like, it will happen for me one way or another.
Oh, absolutely.
What's that about?
That.
And I won't. I guess it's that cheesy phrase that everybody wants to say about being undeniable. So yeah, I'm not. That will happen for me.
Hypothetically speaking, if you were to work with Impact Wrestling, would you wrestle Nevaeh in a Stairway to Nevaeh match? Loser has to give up the name Nevaeh.
I would. We have to fight for the name. That has to happen. We have to fight for the name.
Yes.
We need white staircases, the flog. We need all that.
Yeah, man.
It would have to be a Yariast at Nevaeh patch.
Oh my god. I can't believe you actually figured that out in your head. Alright, Scooter, Kaliko, you have one more question before we almost conclude this?
All right. Really quickly, I've heard that you're tech savvy. Alienware or racist?
Alienware.
Right answer.
That's right.
Kalika?
See, we'll end it on that note.
Alright. And what is a match or opponent that people should go out of their way to see that best shows off what Nevaeh is all about?
I really enjoyed my match with Karen Bam Bam for Invictus.
Right?
I felt like that was the beginning of the new Nevaeh Chantelle that I want to present for the rest of the year.
And also, there's another match of yours in our research that gets talked about a lot. Your match against Corinne Mink for UPWA as well.
I've never seen that match. You have that match?
I've seen a match of yours with Corinne Mink, but it was for BWF.
Okay, yeah. I was about to say the UPWA match out of the 3 matches I've had with Corinne Mink is my favorite. The UPWA one is my favorite.
Sound like somebody need to be getting some tapes.
I know.
They need to surrender the tapes. Surrender the tapes.
Yeah, give me the tapes. I that's like one of my favorite out of the 3, and like I want that match so bad.
And we are nearing the conclusion of this interview. So we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom.
Scared.
No actual doom will be incurred.
Okay, thank you.
This is speed round or bonus round. I'm going to list off 8 questions and you answer them the best of your ability. Are you ready?
Okay.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Ric Flair.
Worst wrestler of all time.
Worst wrestler of all time. Eva Marie.
Yes.
I believe the second time we have heard
this is
her name for that question.
She's beautiful though.
Yeah, but like, you know, it's what you can do in the ring, right?
Once the bell rings.
Once the bell rings, thank you. Your main eventing WrestleMania for the Women's Championship. Who is your opponent?
Charlotte Flair.
Alright. If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
Tamina.
Oh, I thought it would have been Thugonomics. See, that's why
You say you're untouchable.
Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is
dead.
Where did it go, though?
I don't know, but there's no such thing as kayfabe anymore. I don't know what happened. No, I do know what happened. Twitter happened, and everybody wants to be a journalist now, and there's no secrets in the business anymore because everybody's talking their frustrations to these Twitter people, and yeah, there's
so
no
in the
kayfabe.
words of Drake, it goes from trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers.
Exactly.
Next question. Squash. Fruit or vegetable?
Vegetable.
I told y'all. Hey, man. Hey.
It's actually a fruit.
We've been telling y'all this, man.
Yes.
Telling y'all this.
But you got something better today. You are in good graces with Kaliko Yachts, the leader of Squash Squad. So that is maybe something better.
Hey, man, like I said, I ain't never seen squash and free salad.
One day. New Japan wrestler Taichi. His ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
Oh, whatever you're comfortable with. I have had my own I've had a lot of ass cheeks out in my matches before, so I can't judge. So, whatever you're comfortable with is your ass.
Literally and figuratively.
Right.
And last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
No.
And that is the correct answer.
She's like, what?
And that will conclude our interview with Nevaeh Chantelle. Thank you so much for coming on. And where can we find you on social media once again?
Nevaeh Chantelle, all social media platforms.
All right. And until then, you could find, well, actually, next week we have Braden Lee on the show. So, and until then, you could follow us on our Saturday show on YouTube and Castbox. And you could find all of us on social media as well. At Wrestling with E on Twitter for everything wrestling with entertainment related. You can find me at JamesJ993. Where can they find Kaliko Yachts?
You about to destroy my nephew over his homework, and I am Kaliko.
Where can they find Scooter Dust?
You can, of course, always find me underneath your bed and in your closet. Your carpet looks lovely. But yeah, if you want me on social media, at Scooter Dust on Twitter, and holding it down for the UNB network at UNBS Wrestling.
For Kaliko Yacht, for a very special guest, Nevaeh Chantelle, Kaliko Yachts, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.